Hello, good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up tonight, Governor of the Bank of Ghana cannot exonerate himself from current price hikes. We'll hear from an associate professor of Andrews University in the US who is calling for the resignation of the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison.
Now, we want, let me put it, a total change in mindset in the implementation of issues. So he must also leave.
Meanwhile, majority MPs are also calling for Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to be sacked immediately as the country tries to navigate an economic crisis. Also, multinational chief executives predict economic recession next year. We'll bring you details from a survey conducted by accounting and auditing firm KPMG.
If you look forward for the next 3 years, there's greater uncertainty in terms of what the outlook gives us. But as I said already, most of these CEOs believe that uncertainty will be short-lived.
Plus, National Insurance Commission (NIC) reveals that the solvency position of insurance companies has improved following recapitalization of the sector. We'll hear from the Commissioner of Insurance, Dr. Justice Ofori.
The solvency position of the sector has improved on the back of the ongoing recapitalization of the insurance sector and orderly resolution of distressed companies.
More in the next 30 minutes with me, Beverly Broohm. Do stay with us. Hello again. Thanks for staying with us here on Business Live. Now, the Bank of Ghana must share in the blame of the economic quagmire the country currently finds itself in. That's according to Professor William Prepra of Andrews University in the USA. Professor Prepra maintained that the delays by the Monetary Policy Committee in responding to price hikes contributed to inflation getting out of hand. Speaking to Joy Business on calls for the Finance Minister to be sacked, Professor Prepra stated that it will be prudent for the governor of the Bank of Ghana to also resign.
The situation is that the role of the bank of the governor is to bring about price stability. He has also failed in ensuring that he uses the monetary tools that he has to bring about the price stability. So now we want, let me put it, a total change in mindset in the implementation of issues. So he must also leave. Remember that I also granted an interview and said that they delayed in taking some measures. And I wrote an article with the graph projecting where the interest rate and monetary policy rate were going to go. But they didn't take the action. And indeed, the World Bank and IMF also confirmed that delay us. So he must also give way, and we shouldn't forget the Bank of Ghana operates under the Ministry of Finance. So if we are asking the minister to leave, he must also give way to a new crop of people who can assist and bring out that change. As mentioned, now where we are is more of psychological than economic or finance, because already the city has devalued so much. Prices are out of gear. If you don't take care, there will be unrest in the country. So once government gives the signal that those in charge of the economic management team are being removed, the new ones are being replaced, the confidence will come back.
That was Professor William Prepra of Andrews University in Michigan, USA. Now, meanwhile, MPs from the governing New Patriotic Party say President Akufo-Addo must immediately sack Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Eduboahin. Now, MPs had been resolute in their support of the Finance Minister, fighting off efforts of the NDC minority to censure him. But on the first day of the new meeting of Parliament, they say enough is enough and Ken Ofori-Atta must go. Speaking to journalists and Parliament spokesperson for the group and MP for Asante Achim North, Andy Apia Kubi, said they are concerned about the mismanagement of the economy.
Members of the majority caucus of the Parliament of Ghana, and we here so present a greater number of the said caucus. My name is Andy Apia Kubi, and I am only here as spokesperson for the majority group, without more. We have had occasions to defend allegations of conflicts of interest, lack of confidence, trust against the leadership of our finance ministry. The recent developments within our economy are of great concern to the greater majority of members of our caucus and our constituents. We have made our grave concern to the President through the parliamentary leadership and the leadership of the party without any positive response. We are by this medium communicating our strong desire that the President change the Minister of Finance and the Minister of State in the Finance Ministry without further delay in order to restore hope into the financial sector and reverse the downward trend in the growth of the economy. The summary of our concerns leads to a plea that the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kenneth Ufuriata, and the Minister of State of the Ministry of Finance, Honorable Charles Edubuahin, be removed from office. We pray that this prayer will be carried to the presidency. We thank you very much.
Away from that, 86% of chief executive officers sampled by accounting and auditing firm KPMG believe a global recession will happen over the next 12 months. However, 58% feel it will be mild and short, while 76% have plans in place to deal with it. The phenomenon is likely to have an effect on sub-Saharan African countries, including Ghana, which is seeking an IMF bailout. Ibn Sabute has been speaking with a senior partner of KPMG, Anthony Sapon, on the outlook and files this report.
2022 CEO Outlook, KPMG said the CEOs are however ready and prepared to weather the current geopolitical and economic challenges while still anticipating long-term global growth. Also, the report said geopolitical uncertainties will likely continue to impact strategies, with 81% of CEOs adjusting or planning to adjust their risk management procedures. But in spite of short-term recession fears, the increased confidence CEOs have for the longer term indicates they feel well prepared to navigate their businesses through turbulent times. Here is senior partner of KPMG Ghana, Anthony Sapon.
You will notice that if you look forward for the next 3 years, there's greater uncertainty in terms of what the outlook gives us. But as I said already, most of these CEOs believe that that uncertainty will be short-lived. So if you come to Ghana, the first immediate thing, currently our economy is in serious crisis. The situation is perplexing, and both for government and for corporates and for individuals. So in terms of government policy, we would expect that the confidence that is lost is rebuilt. That's very, very important and is immediate. And you see that through the action that the policy that government has taken to go to IMF. We believe that the effect or the outcome of the IMF program in the short term should bring some confidence.
When asked about their confidence in the resilience over the next 6 months, 73% still had a positive outlook, up 13% points from February 2022.
If demand is going down and factories that are demanding volumes of cocoa are going down, then of course the volumes that they are demanding from us are going to go down, prices will fall, and will not get the expected revenue that we have in that particular case. But the other side of it is that because their economic activities have gone down and demand is down, the cost of production and inflation will also go down in those economies. So what we get is a better upside in terms of other imported goods that we have. So in a recession in a developed country where we are import dependent, we then tend to have a mixed bad and good case. The real effect is uncertain. To what extent would our commodity prices go down, and what extent that an eventual inflation in those economies can be imported into.
The COVID-19 pandemic fatigue and economic factors, including the threat of rising interest rates and inflation, top the list of most pressing concerns for CEOs today at 15% and 14% respectively. Operational, regulatory, and reputational concerns also jumped into the top 5.
Now, Ghana is likely to undertake some form of debt restructuring to put its debt under a sustainable path. That's according to the September Africa Markets revealed by the Standard Chartered Bank. The government is presently in negotiations with the IMF. It said broad consensus amongst the investor community is that the government of Ghana will likely have to restructure debts. Charles Nixon-Yeboah has more.
Standard Chartered Bank said though it agrees with investors that there will be some form of debt restructuring, it's unclear whether it will be external or domestic debt or both. It explained that since the government confirmed negotiations with the IMF for a funded deal back in July, it seemed quiet on restructuring external debt at the onset. Still, the government has since concurred to some form of debt restructuring if required. The report further said most external creditors believe domestic debt restructuring will be required to restore public debt on a more sustainable path. This is because, unlike in Zambia, a larger share of Ghana's debt service is skewed towards domestic debt service, which is primarily why there is a consensus building around this. It's predicted that the earliest that this government may secure an agreement with the fund for a funded program may be around December to April next year. However, the key question is whether the IMF would first provide a staff-level agreement and then require progress on a debt restructuring plans.
Minister for Trade and Industry Alan Tremantin has assured that the government is committed to boosting the growth of the local poultry industry. This to support local economies and help job creation for stakeholders in the value chain. Alan Tremantin gave the commitment after touring the ultra-modern chicken production, processing and marketing complex Bunta Farms in the eastern region. Here's a report.
Government's commitment to increase local production of poultry and reduce importation is being boosted with the establishment of Bunta Farms in the eastern region. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, joined the President's Eastern Regional Tour to visit and inspect ongoing works at the factory, which will be one of the biggest in the West African sub-region. The minister hinted that all efforts are being made to increase local production of poultry.
Government is determined as a matter of policy to enhance local capacity for the production of chicken and other poultry products, because we believe that it will create significant opportunities for job creation, particularly once you have investors like Mr. Jan who put in their resources into building this particular anchor facility. Then it allows other smaller producers as outgrowers to feed into this particular anchor facility. And I have no doubt in my mind that since this is consistent with government's policy to support local poultry production, that this will become one of the signature companies for us in this country.
Managers of the farm, which is under the One District, One Factory initiative, are seeking government support to complete the final phase of the factory construction. Here is lawyer Kwame Jan, owner of the facility, interacting with journalists at the farm premises during the president visit.
So far, what we have done here, whatever you see is coming from our own private resources. We have applied to the Ghana Exim Bank to support us. They've come here to review the situation on the ground, and we are waiting for them to come and say something positive to us.
How much are you looking for?
We are looking in the region of about $8 more million.
And beyond, aside Eximba, which other financing options have you explored?
We've not explored other financing because of the interest rates.
Oh, okay. So how much has gone in already?
What we are putting is more than what we are asking Exim Bank to give us.
The facility is expected to commence production by February next year.
Watching Business Live here on the Journeys channel with me, Beverly Broohm. When we return, National Insurance Commission (NIC) reveals that the solvency position of insurance companies has improved following recapitalization of the sector. We'll hear from the Commissioner of Insurance, Dr. Justice Sofori.
The solvency position of the sector has improved on the back of the ongoing recapitalization of the insurance sector and orderly resolution of distress.
Welcome back here on the show. Now, the National Insurance Commission has indicated that the solvency position of the sector has improved. According to Insurance Commissioner Justice Ofori, players within the sector should put up measures to increase insurance penetration in Ghana. Speaking at the commissioning of a new office for Imperial General Assurance, he maintained that the NIC will continue to work to protect customers and players to ensure the growth of the sector.
Dr. Ofori at the commissioning said the number of sector players will continue to rise as they train, grow and strengthen the market. He maintained that the increased transparency and ease of verifying authenticity in claims and policy will build confidence in insurance more broadly.
National Insurance Commission has taken some tough decisions to sanitize the insurance market. The objective is to position the sector as a major growth driver to support the much-needed economic transformation of Ghana. The solvency position of the sector has improved on the back of the ongoing recapitalization of the insurance sector and orderly resolution of distressed companies. The National Insurance Commission is therefore focused on strengthening solvency, protecting customers, and creating an enabling environment that encourages the development of relevant and responsive products. In this vein, Imperial General Assurance should ensure strict compliance with the Insurance Act, the Solvency Framework, directives and guidelines issued by the National Insurance Commission.
Minister for Trade and Industry Alan Tremantin also pledged government support to expand the sector.
In spite of the challenges that we are going through as a country, the industry is going through, that Imperial will see this as a new beginning for the company to be able to capture market share in the insurance industry. As I'm sure you're all aware, government is embarking on a very aggressive program for industrialization, which also includes developing our small and medium enterprise sector. And this means that insurance companies have a captive market in the small and medium enterprise sector.
Deputy Managing Director for Imperial General Assurance Harry Oforiatta stated that the company will continue to bring to the market innovative products.
Imperial General Assurance started about 9 years ago. It has operated for quite some time, basically with the focus of satisfying customers. But following the capitalization, Imperial has capitalized and is now fully capitalized with a 50 million capital. Currently, our focus is to drive customer satisfaction, create convenience for our customers, and also provide reach for our customers. That is why we have launched the Imperial Hub, which enables our customers to go out there and transact business anywhere, anyhow. They can be in their bed and then they'll be satisfied. They can renew their policy whilst in their bed, anywhere they can be having tea and be renewing their policy and buy insurance wherever they are.
Imperial General Assurance says it is determined to change positively how the value of insurance is appreciated in Ghana.
Now, the role of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, IBAG, includes generating public trust and educating the public on insurance and new developments in the insurance sector. Hence, as part of its Broker Awareness Month campaign, IBAG seeks to educate the public on a key development in the new Insurance Act 1061, which is related to marine insurance. Now, tonight, we want to discuss the subject of compulsory marine cargo insurance and the fact that less than 10% of goods imported are locally insured. With me in studio are Stephen Kwateng-Yeboah, Vice President of IBAG, as well as Charles Ansong from the National Insurance Commission. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time here.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll start with you, Stephen. Which one of you, Stephen? Though?
Yes, Stephen.
Okay, so I'll start with you, Stephen. Now, briefly educate us on marine insurance.
So basically, when you talk about marine insurance, you're looking at the insurance that covers all maritime losses. So we are looking at, number one, the vessels. Secondly, you're looking at the cargo, the goods that are imported from outside the country. So all the perils that are associated with these ones, marine insurance is the one that covers these perils. So when you have it, it means that your vessel is covered, and the goods that are coming, they are covered against fire, against theft, piracy, and all other perils that are associated with them. So that's what we talk about marine insurance.
Is this compulsory?
Yes, it is. It is compulsory under the new Insurance Act. You are supposed to, as far as the goods are coming from outside the country and is coming to Ghana, you are supposed to have a marine insurance.
What are the penalties? Let's start with Charles. You.
Okay, so thank you very much. Basically, if you refer to the new Insurance Act, that's 1061, Section 2211C and Section 222, as Stephen rightly said, you are supposed to take local insurance for all imports into the country. The penalties that goes with this are basically pecuniary charges that will go with, which is about 2,500 penalty units converted to about 30,000 Ghana cedis. That's at 12 Ghana cedis at a unit. Or you can be imprisoned for not less than a year and not more than 3 years. So the two goes together. Yes.
Wow.
So in fact, that's why we are doing a lot of sensitization so as to get the public and the importers buying, because basically they pay for this when they import into the country. So why don't you support your own country if the goods are coming here? So basically it's for it.
Wow. But let's talk about this issue. I mean, importers have issues with the states compelling them to buy cargo insurance locally when they have existing intercom on cost insurance and freight. How do you react to this?
Yeah, so I take that, basically government is looking at public interest. You are not the only player in the maritime business. You have the port authorities that are there. People sometimes bring goods that are not insured. There is something we call general average. When the vessels are coming, and then there is a problem where they have to jettison some of the goods, the owners of the cargo will have to come together and contribute towards the cost of the other people whose cargoes were lost. And if you are not able to contribute towards that, you could actually lose the goods. It means that you cannot clear your goods from the port. So you become a nuisance at the port if you don't have an insurance cover that will come in and pay. Government is also interested in sustaining the economy. We are all talking about the hardship that we have. We've been listening to the news, what is happening there. So government wants to make sure that once properties and liabilities are coming to Ghana, the cover must be in Ghana. The revenue must stay in Ghana. So why do we, as a businessman, why do you want to import goods from China or from India, and you want to pay your cargo insurance in that country when the goods are yours and it's actually coming here? And when the loss also occurs, you cannot go to China and bring a loss adjuster to come and adjust your small container goods for you. So it is actually in the interest of the business community to know that when they buy the policy locally, they can go through their broker or the local insurer and get a claim back. So they don't have to, people are paying insurances and they are not getting cover. They are paying the money to the shippers and they are not getting cover. So what we need to do is that your Incoterms, arrange your Incoterms on cost and freight basis, as is done in all other countries, and then the revenue will stay in our country. We will build our economy. We will not have these problems that we're having with foreign exchange, because you have to pay more dollar outside the country than we are doing.
But how prepared are you to make your customers comply with this?
So we are doing the education as brokers. That's one of the reasons why we are here. We thank you for hosting us. We are doing the education and we want them to know the benefit. It's not just a matter of it is compulsory, it is penal. We want them to know that it is in their business interest to have the cargo insurance in Ghana here, so that when a loss occurs, they will be able to get their business back within a very, if a vessel collides or there's a damage on overseas and you have a small 24-feet it can be your whole business together. So we are educating people, we are engaging the business community, we are engaging traders, we are engaging shippers, we are engaging virtually everybody in that chain for them to understand, and that's what we are doing.
Charles, let me take your final words. What's your advice to businessmen?
Yeah. My advice to businessmen is to patronize with this local insurance for their imports into the country, where they are taking even a facility from the bank. Banks are supposed to ensure that their interests are noted on the cargo certificates. And this will help. We want to assure them that the insurance companies have the capacity to underwrite their risk. And also they have the National Insurance Commission, which is the regulators backing on any insurances that they take. The commission is there for their interest, and also to ensure that the insurance companies are very liquid to pay claims as and when they arise.
So if I want to insure my cargo, can I just work in any insurance company?
Yes.
What do I do?
Yes, for us, we would tell you that the best place to go is to speak to a broker, a licensed broker. If you go to www.ibag.gh.org, you would find, list of all the brokers that are there. Go to a broker, because marine cargo, they are governed by very complex international maritime rules and some institute clauses you don't understand. So you go to speak to a broker, your broker will help you to buy the policy from your local. And the National Insurance Commission has procured a database. Actually, they are going to check it at a port. So every consignment that comes in, all the insurance companies and the brokers are going to work through one platform. So at the port authorities are able to check to see whether your goods are insured in Ghana before you can clear. So if you don't do that, it means that, from very soon when they announce, it means that from the port, you cannot clear your goods because you don't have evidence to show. We are all going digital. So everything is on the MAID platform. We want to encourage Ghanaians to patronize it. Let's build our nation together. Let's love our own businesses, and let's buy marine cargo insurances.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Kwating Yeboah, Vice President of IBAG, as well as Charles Ansong from the National Insurance Commission. And that's how we end Business Live tonight on the Journeys channel with me, Beverly Broohm. Thank you so much for your company. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.